Hoping my camera doesn't die. The Saga. I filmed this video a couple times, but didn't like how my face looked. You know what I mean? Like, your face just looks weird and like it's an alien. Plus, I haven't been wearing a lot of makeup because I have mono. So, like, when you have mono, you're just sort of like, why should I wear makeup? Like, makeup is fun, but if I'm just going to be in my pajamas all the time, might as well not wear makeup. So that's what I've been doing. I have mono. I can sit upright, but moving around is kind of a bear and a half. But here, I'm here, and I've been reading a lot of things, and I thought I would tell you about them in a fun and exciting way. I also want to do this series called Tiny Covers. I really like singing, and in the past I've done a few singing videos. I did a cover of Jolene, a Dolly Parton song. I did a cover on The Street Where You Live from My Fair Lady. I sing a lot in my real life, by myself and such, like a person does. Bangs, 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 whatever. And I thought I'd do little covers. So they'll be very bare and mostly a cappella because I don't really know how to play instruments, and I sort of fake it sometimes. So yes, moving on though to the book stuff. I am going to tell you about the books I've been reading recently. Tell you about the books that I have read recently. Just books in general, book stuff. I did not participate in Genreathon, although I kind of did because I ended up reading like 4 books this week, so it sort of worked out. I just didn't think about it. It sounded fun though. Maybe next time. Y'all gonna do it next time? Do it again? I don't know. Spitballing here. Okay, so the first book that I read recently, I don't have with me because I don't know where it went. True stories. It is called Etiquette and Espionage by Gail Carriger. Gail Carriger wrote this book called Solace a few years back. It's a romantic, supernatural, genre fiction sort of dealio, steampunk Victorian, with vampires and werewolves and lots of other fun things. Read it a few years ago, enjoyed it fine, and probably about a year and a half ago, around my birthday, so about a year ago, because my birthday's coming up. It's a good face I just made. So I bought this book called Etiquette and Espionage, which is a precursor to the Solace series. Same universe. It's about a girl named Sophorina, some made-up name like that, who goes to finishing school. That's part finishing school for ladies, part finishing school in how to be a spy. So yeah. This is a YA novel, but it felt more like a middle grade novel, meaning there was a very plucky main female character, which I find that you get more plucky female characters in middle grade than you do in YA. The YA characters, a lot of the time, tend to be more focused on boys or some other situation. This is a female character who's 14, and she's just trying to be the best. And there are little romances, but they're in a very, like, sweet, innocent sort of way. Very boy meets world, girl meets world, somebody meets world. It's good. It was really cute. It wasn't, like, the best thing I've ever read. It was kind of boring, and the plot wasn't that exciting, but it was cute enough that I was interested and was able to finish it. So there's that. I don't know if I'll continue with the series. I think if it grows up a little bit more and the main characters, like I said, grow up a little more, I'm not like saying like grow up, but I'm saying like they age and it becomes more complicated, I probably would keep reading because the universe is interesting. Next book I read was this little beauty. Murder in the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. This is a book about murder on the Orient Express. It's a very famous book by Agatha Christie. I read it for school because while I've been bedridden, I've read a lot for school. It's one of her most famous novels. You probably have heard about it quite often. But basically, Hercule Poirot, I hope I'm saying all of that right, is on a train to go to London, and there's a murder that happens, and he has to figure it out. This book isn't very character-driven. It's lots of characters in it, but it's more about the analytical side of solving a crime. It's really interesting. It's I knew the big reveal, what it was at the end, but it still was enjoyable to read and try to figure out how it was that, because I knew what happened, but I didn't know what happened, if that makes sense. Very quick read. It's only like 300 pages in this format, so I read it in like 2.5 hours and just sort of flew through it. Very quick read, and having read a lot of books from the 1930s recently, because I've taken a lot of classes where I read a lot of books in the 1930s, this is one of the quickest ones I've read from that period. Really fun. And comparing it to my girl Dorothy L. Sayers, my homegirl, this book is much more analytical based, while someone like Dorothy L. Sayers writes a lot of character-based crime novels and things. Moving on to another book that I listened to on audiobook, but I have a physical copy. The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Also read this for a class. I didn't want to read it because I just didn't want to. I don't really remember why. I just didn't feel like it. So I got the audiobook, which worked out pretty well. There's one from 2002 that is Aces. This is the story of a guy named Mr. Utterson who's trying to figure out what's going on with his buddy Dr. Jekyll and who is this guy Mr. Hyde. Most people know the spoiler, the twist, the big reveal at the end, and I was one of those people, so it really did not surprise me. But I still, enjoyed it enough. I didn't really think about it. It was a very quick audiobook, so it almost felt like a short story, like a novella, then it felt like a novel. I don't know if it even is a novel. It might be a novella. But it was just... Sorry, there's a ukulele on my lap, so it's terrible. It was fun. It was a fun read, and I mean not fun, oh, this is fun, but it was enjoyable enough, interesting. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a thing people read. Oh, fun thing about this that I just thought about. This asks really interesting questions about justice. That was what I was going to say. It makes you think about the meaning and purpose of justice and what it means to enact justice. Moving on to the next book. A book I really did not like a lot. It's a book called The Chemistry of Death. Almost forgot what it was called a minute ago. By Simon Beckett, I believe is the author. This is a crime fiction novel from 2006. Won a bunch of awards, well received, a lot of people like it, international bestseller. I was not one of those people. I was definitely not one of those people. I don't generally like modern crime fiction. It just doesn't really do it for me. But this book I particularly didn't really like. I think I might have liked it more in sort of a TV format, but again, maybe not. Basically, it's about this guy, and I can't remember his name. I read this book literally yesterday, and I do not remember his name. It's about this guy, the main character. He is a hardened dude. He's had a tragic backstory. His wife and daughter died in a car accident, and so he decides to move to a tiny town in the outskirts, or in rural England. He was one of the UK's top forensic anthropologists and decides to just be a GP in this tiny town, and he's there for 3 years until really bad things start to happen, and there's murders and women getting kidnapped, and there's a few reasons why I didn't like this book. One, I thought the writing was really mediocre. I mean, it was okay, but it was mediocre. But specifically, I didn't like how the author blatantly foreshadowed everything. It was at the end of every paragraph or chapter, it would say something like, little did he know that everything was about to change, or little did he know the danger that was coming. And that drove me crazy, because it's cheap and easy and not interesting. Number 2, I really did not like his treatment of the characters, specifically the female characters. There's a character called Jenny who I really liked, or I thought I was going to like, but she didn't have any character development. And then, spoiler alert, just stop this video and go away if you don't want to know this. She dies. And so I was like, this is how it's going to go. They introduced her, and I thought that she was going to have some character development, but she didn't. They just killed her off, and it felt like they did that to all the female characters. I mean, it was. Crime against women is a real deal, and it's bad and serious, but it just felt like none of them had any personality. It was just, they were there for the plot's movement, and Jenny felt like she was introduced to make the main character's backstory even more tragic, or his life even more tragic, and it really pissed me off a lot. Also, just himself, the main character, was really lame and had no, anything. He was just nothing. There was no character in him. He was just a person. I don't even know. It was disappointing. Yeah. Also, I figured out the whole, twist really early on, which I'm like, what's the point if I figure out the twist? And it's not something like Agatha Christie where it's, kind of interesting to see it's gonna fold out. You already know, yeah, it wasn't that interesting. It just was ugh. Just, I really didn't like it. Okay, and then today, though, I finished a book that I really, really, really loved. Unsurprisingly, Anne of the Island by Ellen Montgomery. I started reading this book in January, and I lost it, and then I found it again, and finished it. So it's many months in the making. Really, 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 really love this a lot. Love Anne, love Gilbert. That's all I'm going to say. I don't really want to go on about it too much, but that's how I feel about it. Okay, and then finally, books I'm currently reading. This is so much fun, isn't it? I am currently reading this book, Deathless, by Catherine M. Valente. I'm reading it with Mike from Slice of Mike. I'm kind of ahead of him, but that's okay. I can wait for you, Mike. It is super good. Super good. Russian. Stalin. Folklore. Fairy tales. Ah! And then I started reading this book, but I think I'm going to DNF it. And that is A Field Guide to Awkward Silences by Alexandra Petri. It's a memoir, book of essays. I got it for Christmas. I don't remember why I asked for it. I think I thought the cover was jaunty. It's just kind of not for me. I don't really enjoy her writing and her voice. So if you don't like a person's voice, it's difficult to like read a memoir. There wasn't anything else. And then I'm going back to start this little beauty, I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith, because I don't know, I'm in the mood and I've never read it and it's very famous. So that is my currently reading / read. I really hope that I like my face, how it looks, because I really don't want to film this again. Oh, coming up, probably really soon, I'm gonna do the New York by the book tag, because I want to film that right now. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.